What's going on, everybody? I'm Alex Quinn, and you're listening to the Hustle Inspires Hustle podcast. Today, we're super excited to have Katelyn Blackburn, founder of Diligence Agencies. What's going on?
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Nah, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm really excited, and I love your background. Love the decoration.
Oh, thanks. I mean, there is the little treadmill in the back too, but
I love the gray
couldn't move
tone.
it.
But questions, do you actually use the treadmill?
I
Like
do.
while working?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like on a daily basis.
I've never gotten into it, but a bunch of my buddies do it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, super cool. Okay, where are you located right now?
So I'm in California, and that's where I live.
Okay. Talk to me about Diligence. How long have you been operating Diligence?
Yeah, absolutely. So Diligence Agencies has been around for about 3.5 years. That's when I started the journey into entrepreneurship. And what
Mhm.
we are is we're financial brokers. So, we work in the insurance space. We help clients with their insurance needs, and we continue to build teams with other individuals looking for, more of an entrepreneur vehicle.
Right. And was that always your career path, or how did you fall into into that
No,
industry?
not at all.
No.
I actually went to school for business and then also went to school and started nursing school. So I was going like more in the medical field route, and I found this about 3.5 years ago, and I was like, I had that. I just had that feeling that like there was obviously more to life than working for somebody else. And I always was a hard worker and I wanted to be able to create something for myself. So I took that leap of faith and got into this journey. And now we're here.
It's very similar because I had dreams of the medical route back in
Yeah.
college. I wanted to be an emergency surgeon. Maybe it was too much Grey's Anatomy. Um,
Yeah.
and then I ended
Yeah.
up in the marketing route and business route, which was the best decision I could have ever made, starting my agency. So you also had that change too, right? You were another path, and then you decided to start your own business. How was that transition?
The transition at first was scary, but like I believed in myself and I knew that the opportunity was working for a lot of other people. And like if they were gonna be able to make it work, like I always knew that, I had the work ethic, I had the skill set behind growing something. So I wanted to be able to put myself in that position. But obviously it's not easy to just jump out of a career path and go to something that's completely unknown. But
Right.
it's also, one of the best decisions that you can make for yourself.
So would you say that a lot of, or if not most of the work that you do on a daily basis has to do with sales, communications, and just like, communicating with people in general?
The majority of it, yes. Like we're talking to clients about their insurance needs. That's the main thing that we do is that we
Yeah.
get on the phone with them and figure out exactly what's going on, medically, financially, to place them with the correct insurance policy. On the other hand, of the business is obviously the growth side, where you're looking for more individuals that, maybe have been in sales before, or maybe they're just like me and didn't come from sales, but they are looking for an opportunity where they can build themselves up and build their own empire. So a lot of it is communication. A lot of it is, we're talking to people on a daily basis and really figuring out how we can solve their problem.
Can you walk me through your client journey? Like, who is your ideal client, and what does the journey look like once they get on the phone with you or inquire?
Yeah, I mean, like our clients for insurance, like ideal client, it can be anybody because everybody needs the products that we have. We sell all life. We do, IULs, whole life, term life. We have multiple different carriers, and our ideal client is really anybody looking for protection for their family when they pass away.
Right.
Now, the ideal client for, somebody to come in and build their own business here would be somebody that is, eager to be an entrepreneur wants to have an opportunity to have the freedom that we do have, work from anywhere, we're obviously virtual, and also have the burning desire to help other people because that's how you build a really big business.
Right. How'd you fall into this space?
Well, I found it on Instagram actually. Someone had reached out to me and I was like, I'm a pretty open-minded person, so somebody reached out to me, kind of gave me the rundown of what this would look like, and my first thoughts were, well, I don't know if it's real, but I'm not currently happy with being in a career path that is going to be capped at one point.
Right.
And also, I was just spending a lot of time away from my daughter. So you have to really figure out exactly like what you want in
Hmm.
your life for you and your family. And like when I heard about this opportunity, I really didn't. I really didn't care how hard it was going to be. I was like, I just want to make this work and I'll do whatever it takes. And, now fast forward, we have a 2 million a month business.
It is a really family oriented business though, from the perspective of when you have to like service your clients, you have to really think about them as a family, like what's
Yeah.
important to them, what's going to happen when they're no longer around. It's a very nice business because I mean, for the most part, you have lifetime clients, and then their kids, their families. Would you say that most of your business comes from referrals, or how are you guys currently acquiring leads or
No,
clients?
yeah, not a ton of them come from referrals. We do work off of Leads, which is a company that I also run. So we have Diligence Leads, that's a company that I run, and they're exclusive and they are, really targeted towards the audiences that would be an ideal client for us. People that are
Okay.
looking for, the index universal life policies, or maybe just, veterans that are looking for some final expenses. So that's another company that I run, but our agents all work those.
Super cool. Okay, so you have to have the sales and marketing aspect locked down to be able to make the machine move. It's important.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you don't have to have the marketing, but I did it for my team because I wanted us to continue to grow with being able to have full control over our marketing.
Yeah, right. Because I'm guessing a lot of people in your space like outsource like to an agency or something like
Yeah,
that. You brought it in house.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I mean, working in house and eventually working with consultants or outside agencies for extra work or just to like fill your team in is good. But with the type of business that you have, it's really solid to be able to have a sales team. So congratulations on that. At which point did you decide to do the lead side of it? Like, was it at the same time or was it later on?
No, that's actually pretty new. We've only been doing it for about 4 months now.
Yeah.
So, about 3 years of this business, I wasn't looking to do the marketing side of it, just because we were using other vendors and we were having success. But eventually it does come down to you want to have some control over, the clientele and the audiences that you're speaking with. And, in order for us to grow to, like extremely big, we need to have something that is, in-house to be able to control.
You mentioned 2 million a month. Break that down. Unpack that for me.
So our team does 2 million a month in paid commissions to the agents. So,
Okay, that's
uh,
just paid commissions.
yeah. Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
super cool. Okay. So, you built a multi-million dollar agency from scratch, you could say. What's one thing most people don't realize about taking that leap into entrepreneurship that you feel stands out to you the most from your experience?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I would say that the biggest thing that a lot of people probably don't think about when they come into an entrepreneur space is how you really do have to believe in yourself. So you have to have that self-confidence and self-belief to be able to be successful as an entrepreneur. And
Yeah.
you also have to realize that investing in yourself and your team is only going to help you grow. So
Yeah.
those are two things that I definitely struggled with when I started. The self-belief and the confidence behind what I was doing. And then also knowing that I had to invest in the business in order for me to continue to grow it.
Okay. Have there been any like books, mentors, or any type of resource or material that have been a game changer for you during this journey of starting your agency up?
Yeah, I mean, I love to like listen to like Layla Hormozi's podcast. Like she's really good and she reminds me a lot of myself. So I like to listen to those. But of course, there's multiple mentors within the insurance space that I also speak to on a daily basis that, will help me with certain things. But for the most part, I would say that I've learned a lot of this through trial and error. Like going out, failing forward and, learning from the mistake and then helping my agents not do the same.
Have you read Alex's books, Hormozy?
I haven't, no.
They're so good. They're
I
so
bet.
Yeah,
I mean, she's
your
great.
sales team will
So,
probably have a blast reading his books. He's so damn good. I've read
yeah.
both of them. I mean, I think he has two or three. I've read two of them, and they've completely changed the game for me. Another one that's been really good has been Chris Voss, who I've had on the podcast.
Okay.
Never Split the Difference. So just great tools, great
I've
material.
read that book too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
It's a
good
really
book.
good
It
one.
changed the game for me. I started closing a lot bigger deals when I started implementing a lot of the things that I learned from his book. I've been running an agency for 10 years, almost 11 years now, and in May it's going to be 11 years, a marketing agency. So, I do know the process of leads, sales. That's why I'm asking you these questions, right?
Yeah.
I know what a mission it is at first to get those things up and running and cranking.
Yeah. It's
But
a
once you
lot.
have them, it's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, empathy is at the core of your sales philosophy. How do you define empathy in the context of sales, and why is it so powerful to you?
Empathy to me is just really putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and figuring out exactly what they would be coming to you for, whether that be, a client looking for a type of insurance that's going to help protect their family, or an agent that is looking for a better opportunity or an opportunity that's just going to allow them to have the, uncapped potential. Now, empathy is important in sales because if you can show that kind of empathy and like truly care about that other person, then everybody can feel that. That's a relationship that's being built that can allow you to, really change somebody's life, which when you get into business, any kind of business, eventually I truly believe that money won't always do it. Money brings freedom. It's great to have, but after you make the money, you have to have a stronger purpose in what you're doing. And that
Yeah.
should be to help people figure out where they're at and feel that empathy. For me, the best example of empathy with my agents would be I can still put myself in their shoes when they first start and remember exactly how I felt when I first started, you know?
Yeah. I think it's really important that you focus on empathy, or like it's something that's important to you just because of the nature of the business that you're in. You're not selling a t-shirt, you're not selling a
No.
dinner or even a vacation. Like it has to do with people's livelihood, their money, their finances, like their inheritance, whatever the case may be, right? It's just people's life plan. And people don't trust just anybody with that type of stuff. So it takes a special type of character to be able to do what you do and understand people and make them feel comfortable enough to not only trust you with their money, but opening up their books to you and what they own, what they do, what they don't do. That's something that's very requires a lot of vulnerability from the person that's actually opening up their doors to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can show that empathy back to them, you're going to be able to help them a lot more.
Yeah. Now, what's the biggest strength you think women bring to sales, and maybe in your specific industry? And how does empathy transform client relationships? Being with that being said.
Well, women, we just naturally have like more of an empathetic personality, but also we possess that like nurturing like feeling as well for a lot of people. So I feel like we're a little bit less intimidating when it comes to the sales world. When, if you're doing in-person sales, you're obviously less intimidating and even over the phone.
Mhm.
Men and women are both very successful in sales. It just comes down to the certain little things that I see women have that advantage of, and that would be the empathy that they have behind their voice and also the presence of, more of like a nurturing, like I'm here to help.
It's interesting. I don't know how true these stats are because I don't work at the company, and I was just listening, but I was listening to a Patrick Bet David podcast, and he was talking about how a PHP agency, I believe like some of the top salespeople are women between the age of 25 and 45, specifically Latina. So pretty
Yeah,
interesting. I mean, I didn't know those figures. I hope they're accurate.
that's probably accurate. Yeah.
Okay. So for leaders, how can they cultivate an empathetic sales culture within their teams, especially in high pressure environments like the ones you work in?
Just leading from the front. I mean, you can really show other people how to become better leaders just by you doing it yourself. So empathy has something to do with leadership, obviously, because it's like, trying to understand where they're coming from and hear them when they're communicating. But leadership is also something that they have to personally develop themselves, and it does take time. Everybody should be working on getting better every single day. I know that that's what I do. I'm nowhere near perfect, but I will strive to be better every day. So I think that's something that does need to be more focused on when you're building a business because, you're leading other people and you have to become the leader if you want them to continue to follow.
Speaking of teams and empathy and all that, what do you think is one of the biggest myths about empathy in sales that holds people back? Maybe like
Maybe
faking it or like just, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
maybe
Like
it
just
could be like the faking it thing. Like you think, like maybe they aren't genuine with it. Like
yeah.
they don't want to be. They're like, I'm not naturally empathetic, so like I don't want to be empathetic. But I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to like be so empathetic that it sounds like you're faking it. It's like you just have to genuinely care about people. If you don't care about people and you're in sales, well, I don't know how far you're really going to make it in sales. You might be successful, but you want to continue to grow it. Like, yes, we do 2 million a month, but like in my mind, I'm like, we should be doing 20 million a month. You know, that's where I always see us growing and growing. But that's because I genuinely want to bring people into the business and have them see the success that I saw. So, you know, faking it maybe is like a myth, like faking it or being too over dramatic, but you know, empathy is a natural thing that people should have when they are feeling for somebody else and their situation.
What advice would you give to young women who want to break into sales or entrepreneurship, but they have self-doubt or they feel like there's too many barriers to entry? How was your experience?
I would say like anybody that does have the doubt and like they're worried about it, I would just like normalize that because that's something that's very normal instead of making yourself feel like you're like an outlier or somebody that like, oh, I couldn't do this because like I'm sure that she didn't feel that way or I'm sure he didn't feel that way. It's like a lot of us do feel that way. You know, we like as you go through your journey, you're still gonna have days where you have those doubts. Like, is this gonna work? Is this not gonna work? You know, like a decision that you made in your business, was that the right one? Was it not? And, you know, normalizing that, knowing that it's okay that you feel that way, and also thinking about the alternative. Because for me, the alternative was working for somebody else forever, having to put my child in childcare forever, and having to go to work and clock in and clock out. And that just was not ideal for me. That's not what I wanted. Some people want that. I didn't want that. So it didn't matter how much self-doubt or negative energy was going through my brain. I was like, I'm gonna push past this. So, you know, just realize that like you have to normalize those feelings and you have to find a way to push past it because adversity is going to happen no matter what.
Speaking of being a mother, how much time did you spend working the other job while still being a mom?
Well, I was working 12-hour shifts in a hospital, and I was working at night. So I
Yeah,
was very exhausted. I'd
yeah,
work all night. I'd come back, sleep a couple hours, and then I would be with her. But then I have to go back and do it all over again. So this gives me the freedom of obviously, you know, being able to work around her schedule. And also it does allow us to, you know, now that we built a business, I pick and choose what I want to do. You know, she's most important. So that's the beautiful part of business and entrepreneurship is that your schedule can revolve around what's most important to you. And, you know, that will be family.
yeah, absolutely. It's literally the most important thing. Like
Yeah.
everything I do, like all my projects, everything that I like enroll into has to fit perfectly into my family life
Yeah,
or not disrupt it in any way in order for me to continue wanting to do it.
exactly.
That led me the whole family aspect led me to release a children's book. It's actually right here. Look,
Oh, cool.
called Polo's Day at the Park. I
Oh,
came up with
that's
this
sweet.
during the pandemic. I wanted to instill, family values into kids. So, we talk about it's a story about respect and there's a coloring book and all that. Families it's key and if your family life is flowing good, your business will flow good. People don't
Yeah.
understand that there's a connection there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So talk to me. I see some awards on your I can't help but see that you got some awards back there. What's
The
going on
things in the
back
background.
there?
They're just awards for my company. So, you know, I've like, if you go back into my journey, like, you know, the past 3.5 years, like I started with just sales. Like I was like learning a lot about the sales process when it came to insurance. So
Yeah.
without any sales experience, you know, it was a learning curve for me for sure. There was a lot of rejection that I hadn't like been used to because that's not really what you get in the medical field. So like for me, like I was learning how to get through sales calls, sales processes, but once I got past that, I was doing very, very well as far as like selling at a high level, which did allow me to build the business that way as well, because a lot of people want to follow people that are actually doing it.
Yeah.
Um, so, you know, with the awards, it's just different awards for certain sales and numbers
Yeah.
that we do as a team as well.
Yeah, it's always good to remind ourselves that we're making progress. So words are great. How do you want to be remembered?
You know, I want to be remembered as somebody that always wanted individuals to win. So then what I mean by that is there's a lot of people that come into the business and sometimes they don't make it. But the one thing that I always want to be remembered by is that, you know, Caitlin did everything that she could to help me and maybe I just wasn't a good fit. Like she wanted everybody to win.
Right.
And that's important to me because when I bring people into this space, I am going to give you the full transparent expectations that you're going to need to be successful here. And I want to make sure that you have those and that, you know, you have the opportunity to win.
For somebody that wants to work sales in your industry, typically, like how, I mean, obviously it's subjective, right? But like typically, how long is the learning curve or getting accredited, getting licensed? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, when you don't have any sales experience, the learning curve can be a little bit longer, but typically, it takes about 2 weeks to obtain a license, which we help you do. And
Yeah,
then after that, it's about 2 weeks of training that you get within the team and the organization because the structures that we have in place are pretty structured for right after you pass that exam. And
yeah,
then from there, I mean, if you have sales experience, like I see individuals make sales their first day, on the phones.
yeah,
So just really comes down to like how much that person is willing to, practice their scripts and like really be attentive during the trainings because we are 1099. So the reason I always say the
yeah,
more that you put into this, the more you get out of it is because you do have to hold yourself accountable. It is something where you own your own business. You have the same opportunity to do exactly what I did.
yeah.
You're gonna have to do it.
Random question. Has AI in any way affected the day-to-day operations of people in your industry?
No.
No. Yeah, I mean,
No.
not yet, at least, not
Not
noticeable.
yet, no. If anything, I mean, it helps us with, we have different AI things that we train for, like bots to like text people back for us to set appointments. But, our job can't
Yeah,
be replaced with that because we have, important things that we have to ask them, important information, and like legally we have to make sure that these people are, healthy enough to qualify for the product. So,
yeah.
luckily, I don't see insurance going anywhere.
Yeah, no, one way I think, I mean, if it's compliant, I haven't done this, but one way I could think about it is like,
Yeah,
a lot of the times when you call in somewhere and then like, oh, this call may be recorded for quality assurance. Well,
yeah,
that's the disclaimer that you're being recorded, obviously.
yeah.
Um, one way I could see of like, for example, like a head of sales, kind of like listening to phone calls or seeing how the sales process is going is potentially downloading the call, pulling the transcript from the calls or whatever calls you want to
Mhm.
look at, and then pull out all the objections or create objection handling criteria based off those calls to make things go a little bit quicker. I'm always seeing how AI could potentially like help businesses.
Yeah.
I was recently interviewing somebody who has a medical practice, and one of the things that's changed a lot for them is the way they do reports, right? Because before, like she
Okay.
would have to stay hours, like after the practice closed, just doing reports and updating stuff. And now AI has completely changed the way that they do things. So that's why I had that question for you. I wanted to see if maybe your industry
Yeah.
has seen itself affected by the growth.
I mean, that's really cool. And I'm sure there's going to be things that come out. I'm probably not your girl to ask those questions because I don't know much about technology, but
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be things that are going to make the industry easier when it comes to obviously like, lead generation and all of that kind of stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I know that it's like I know that there's a lot of compliance when it comes to that. I haven't had a chance to work in your space, but I've had people pitch me because since I'm a marketer, a lot of the times I do like revenue share deals with businesses. But I
Mhm.
can't do it in your industry unless I'm licensed. So I have gotten pitched by like two or three people already saying, "Oh, get your license, do this, do that." And there's people doing a lot of cool events. Like there's this guy here in Miami doing events where he brings in like 70, 80 people and he does like a presentation and he actually brings
Yeah.
in some of his clients, and then he's able to talk about the life insurance policies, or he'll bring in realtors, and realtors are a great lead source for people in your
Yeah,
industry. So
for sure.
it's a whole different world that was opened up to me, and that's why when we had the opportunity to chat here and have you on the podcast, I thought it would be super cool because I'm a little bit fresh on the info, and I thought we would have a nice conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And you live in Miami?
Yeah, I live a little bit more north. I'm in Broward County. I live like 10
Okay.
minutes north of
Cool.
Miami, like right off
Yeah.
county line. But yeah,
I
south.
go I go to Florida a lot because that's like where I do all my lead generation and stuff.
No
So
way.
like yeah, like everybody that I work with is out in Florida when it comes to the lead side of the business. So
Super
yeah,
cool. When
Florida's
you have an
nice.
event over here, you got to let me know so I could swing by
Yeah.
with the team because we are a sponge. We love to learn. As you can tell, I got a bunch of finance books back here and
Yeah.
sales and shit. I'm all about learning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Where can we
Well,
find you on socials? Where's the best way to connect with you or your business and learn more about how you help people?
yeah, so at Caitlin Carmela is my Instagram. That's the best way to contact me. You can
Yeah.
go into the just like the link in my bio. You're gonna be able to see a spot where you can book calls with me, to talk about business, talk about whatever you want to talk about. Like there's multiple different things on there. Obviously, we have our leads on there as well. So like if you want to book a call, a consultation about the leads, you can do that. But social media is really the best place to find me.
Beautiful. Caitlin, look, I really appreciate your time. I know that we're gonna have an opportunity down the road to dive more deep into what you do. I hope we make it
Absolutely.
happen after we meet in Miami. I would love for you
Yeah.
to meet my partner, Michelle. She couldn't make it on the call today. She's on vacation in Disney, but she was really excited about having you on. She's the one that booked everything. But
Okay.
yeah, thank you so much, guys. If you found value in this episode or you want to learn more about Caitlin's business or how she could potentially help you, go to hustleinspireshustle.com/podcast and find our episode or whatever platform you're listening on. Go to the show notes and you'll be able to find her social medias, her website, and everything else that we talked about here today.
Thank
We
you
all
for
good,
having
Caitlin?
me. What?
Are we missing anything? Are we all good?
No, I think that's good. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all. It's Alex, Quinn,
Yeah.
Katelyn Blackburn, Hustle Inspires Hustle. Catch you on the next episode. Bye bye.